$500,000 should be enough to buy a great home, right? Like, when you say that number out loud, it sounds like you should have options, space, location, something that actually feels like a step forward in your life. But here's the reality. In Halifax, $500,000 as a budget feels tight. And this is where I see people making one of the biggest mistakes in real estate. They go in with one expectation, and slowly, without even realizing it, they start lowering their standards just to make a square fit into a round hole. And by the time they notice, they've already attached to a home that doesn't actually fit what they truly want. So if you're working with a budget around $500,000, this video is going to save you from making a decision that you'll later regret. Hi, I'm Logan Tomczyk, your real-life realtor here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And the way I work, it's pretty simple. I'm going to be honest with you every step of the way, even if it's something that you're not expecting to hear. Because I'd rather tell you no to a home that doesn't fit your lifestyle than to have you regretting a $500,000 decision later down the road. And if you're watching this video thinking, oh, I just want to know what my money actually gets me right now in 2026, then comment the word 500 below in the comment section. I'll send you real listings that are active on the market in that 500K or below price point. It won't just be generic stuff again. This is going to be real listings that are live on the market today. Or, if it's easier, you can book a call with me through the link in my description of this very video. We'll walk through your specific situation together, step by step. Now, let's talk about the real pressure point here. The issue isn't just affordability. It's expectation versus reality. Most buyers don't struggle because they can't afford something. They struggle because what they can afford doesn't match up with what they thought that they would get. And that gap is where bad decisions tend to happen. Because what most people do in that moment is they don't take a step back to view the bigger picture here. They lean in. They start adjusting or compromising their needs and their wants. They start saying things like, okay, maybe we don't need that extra bedroom, or maybe we can update this later, or maybe the location isn't really that bad. And it sounds small in the moment, but these big compromises can add up quickly. And when you stack enough of these compromises together, then you don't end up with a home that you love. You end up with a home that you've convinced yourself to accept. And I see this happen all the time with countless people, because people, they don't even realize what they're doing in the moment. They just are focused on getting the keys, and they think that they're being flexible with these decisions, but in reality, they're just drifting farther and further away from what actually matters to them and to their lifestyle. Now, let me give you a real life example. I knew these guys with a solid budget around that 500K price point. They were in a great situation, pre-approved, ready to go from day one. They were focused on Halifax. That was the goal, close to everything. We had that city lifestyle that they wanted, the downtown buzz, close to all amenities, and it was everything on their list that they were looking for. So naturally, started looking. And the first few showings, they were excited. Everything, it feels new. Look at all these options that I have. Everything feels possible for them. But then after a few days, you could feel a shift was happening. The homes that we were seeing, they weren't bad, but they weren't what the client was expecting. The rooms, they were smaller. Older layouts were riddled throughout these homes. There was less overall space as well. And I could literally see it happening in real time. They were starting to make it work in their head. They were trying to justify these smaller spaces. They were trying to convince themselves that everything was fine. It's like the meme with the dog sipping his tea in the house that's burning on fire, because the people that I was helping were locking themselves into the wrong decision. So I stopped them. I said, hey guys, let's not force this here. Let's not try to make something fit if it doesn't. Let's just expand our search for 1 week. No pressure, no commitment, just more options, just so we can see what else might be out there. So I showed them places in Dartmouth, and within a few days, everything had changed. They were energized again. Their conversations that we were having, they were changing in a more positive way, and they weren't trying to justify anything anymore. They were excited. They were pointing things out that they liked in the homes. They were thinking about future moves in positive ways for their space, because guess what? They had more options, they had better layouts, they had more space in the homes, and the homes were fitting what they wanted from the beginning. And within a couple of weeks, they had the keys to a home that they genuinely loved, and it wasn't something that they were settling for. Now, here's the important part of the story. That doesn't mean that Dartmouth is better than Halifax. It just means that for them and for their budget and for their priorities, it was a better fit. And that's the only thing that matters, is finding the perfect fit for the client. It'll change every person, and that's okay. So let's break this down clearly for you. At $500K in Halifax, you are almost always making a trade-off. You're choosing location over space. You're choosing proximity to amenities over flexibility. You're often looking at smaller detached homes or townhouses, and most likely smaller condos. And again, those can be great options. Personally, I love my Halifax condo because it fits my goals and it fits my lifestyle. But condos are not for everyone. Only if a home aligns with what you actually want. That's when I start to get excited about our options. Because if you're compromising on your next move without a plan in place, well, you're going to feel it. Now, if we focus across the water in Dartmouth, the same budget, it often opens up things a little bit differently. You're gonna get more space in more situations. You're gonna have more options to choose from. Homes that feel less like a compromise and more like a long-term fit. And lifestyle-wise, it's not like you're giving everything up. You're still connected to Halifax, whether that's over the bridges, whether that's the long way with the new highway that goes around the HRM, or even the ferry terminal. But it's all about your day-to-day life, because that will feel different. More space, more breathing room, less pressure. That's the key point here of having $500K budget in Halifax versus $500K budget in Dartmouth. So here's the real question that you need to ask yourself. Not what sounds better, not what you've heard, but what actually fits your lifestyle. Do you want to be in the middle of everything, or do you want more space, more flexibility, and long-term comfort? Because if you don't answer questions like these clearly, well, then you're gonna get pulled in all the wrong directions for your house hunt. And that's when people make decisions that ultimately they regret. So here's the solution. Before you fall in love with a home, before you start booking showings, and before you even start submitting offers, you need clarity. You need to know what you need versus what you want, and what you're actually willing to compromise on. Because once you have that clarity, everything's going to change in front of you. You stop forcing things. You stop second guessing everything that comes your way. And you start recognizing the right home when you see it. And if you don't have that clarity yet, don't worry. That's completely normal. That's literally what I help people with every single day. So if you're working with a budget around $500,000, or honestly any budget for that matter, and you want to understand what your options actually look like right now in the 2026 Nova Scotia market, comment below 500. I'll send you real listings that are live and for sale on the market today, right now, based on your situation. Or if you want a more serious analysis of your situation, then book a private call with me. It's just 15 minutes of your time, and a link to my Google Calendar is in the description of this very video. Check that link out now. We'll map out a plan so you can move forward with confidence. Don't worry, there's gonna be no pressure here. There's gonna be no guessing at all. It's just to talk and give clear, honest advice so you don't end up settling for a home that you're going to later regret. And if you found this video to be helpful, subscribe. I break down this stuff every single week so you can make smarter decisions in the market. I also greatly appreciate your support for my channel. Thank you very much. I'm Logan Tomczyk, your real life realtor, and I will see you in the next video.